Hello everyone, and welcome once again to Mishnah Minutes. In this video we will be learning Mishnayos Berachos, Perek Gimel, Mishnah Beis. The learning of this Mishnah has been dedicated by my in-laws, Rabbi and Mrs. Rosenblatt, as a schus for the entire extended Rosenblatt family. Everyone should have gesund and see much mazel and bracha in their lives. So, in the previous Mishnah, we started talking about people who are involved in a levaya. Somebody has passed away, and we spoke about the close relatives of the nifter and how they have a p'tur from saying Kriya Shema until the nifter is buried, because they are oisik in a tirda de mitzvah. They have a mitzvah, they have an obligation to see to it that the nifter should come to kfura. So until the kfura, they have a p'tur from Kriya Shema, from tefillah, from tefillin. And then we also spoke about the other people that are involved in the levaya sameis and in the kfura sameis. And we said that there is also a p'tur from Kriya Shema for those who are carrying the mita, carrying the stretcher that the nifter is on, to help bring the nifter to kfura. Now the Mishnah continues, and the Mishnah begins, Kavru es hameis. If they actually brought the mace to the kever, and they have now buried the mace. Now, after the kfura, what they would do is, they would walk a little bit away from the kever, and the avelim would sit in a spot or stand in a spot, and all the other people who are oisik in the levaya and oisik in the kfura, they would form rows of people, and they would file past the avelim, and they would do nichum avelim. They would console the mourners. They would walk by, and they would say, they would do nichum avelim. And that's called the shura. That's called when they make the rows to console the mourners. Now, kavru es hameis. They buried the mace. Now they're going to go to the place where they make the shura. And now it's the time to say Kriya Shema. So the zman for Kriya Shema shel shacharis has arrived. You can now be yotze the obligation of saying Kriya Shema. So the Mishnah discusses what are these people supposed to do now. Chazru, they're coming back from burying the mace, and they're going to the shura. Im yechaylin lahaschil v'ligmar. If there is enough time from when they walk away from the kever until they get to the place where they're making the shura, and they have to do nicham avelim, im yechaylin lahaschil v'ligmar. If there's enough time that they are able to start saying Kriya Shema and to finish. But the Rav says over here that to finish means not to finish saying the entire Kriya Shema, but to finish Parsha Achas, one Parsha of Kriya Shema, one chapter. Now the Taisus Yom Tov over here says that when the Rav says one chapter, he really means the first pasuk. Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. So if there's enough time between when they walk away from the kever to when they will get to the place of the shura, that you could start saying Shema Yisrael and finish Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, then, let me just read this properly. Chazru, if they come back from the kever, and now they're going to the shura, im yechaylan lahaschil v'ligmar, if there's enough time to start saying the first pasuk of Kriya Shema and to complete it, ad shalo yagiu l'shura, until they reach the place where they're making the shura to do the nicham avelim, then yaschilu, then they should begin. Ve'em lav lo yaschilu. But if there isn't enough time to start saying Shema Yisrael and to finish Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, then they should not even begin. Now, the reason for this is, if there's enough time for them to say at least one pasuk of Shema Yisrael, so then it doesn't take away from their tirda de mitzvah. The tirda de mitzvah that these people have now is because they're being oisik, they're busy in the mitzvah of nicham avelim. And the mitzvah of nicham avelim requires them to walk from the kever to the shura and to do nicham avelim. Now, from the kever to the shura, they're not doing a mitzvah. So if they could say Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, and they could be Mekabel Ol Malchus Shamayim, and according to some, you could be Yotze your whole Chiyuv Daraisa of Kriya Shema just by saying Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. So if you can do that in the time from when you leave the kever until you get to the shura, why not? Go ahead and do it. But if you don't have enough time, then what's going to happen? You're going to start saying Shema Yisrael while you're on the way to the Shura. Then you're going to get to the Shura, and you're still going to be busy saying Kriya Shema. You're not going to stop in the middle of a pasuk. So when you get to the Shura, now you're still going to be saying Shema, but that's not what you're supposed to be doing when you buy the Shura. When you buy the Shura, you're supposed to do Nichem Avelim, and you have a p'tur from saying Kriya Shema when you're at the Shura, because you're tired to the mitzvah, you're busy in the mitzvah of Nichem Avelim. So if you have enough time to start and finish before you get to the Shura, fine. Start and finish one pasuk. If you don't have enough time, don't even begin. Now, the Mishnah discusses the people that are at the Shura itself. Ha'oimdim bashura, the people who are standing in the rows that are going to do the Nichem Avelim. Ha'pnimim, the ones that are in the inside of the row. So if you imagine you have an oval standing in the middle, and now you have rows. You might have 3 rows deep alongside the oval. So the pnimim are the ones that are inside, the ones that could actually see the oval. Like the Rav says, haroyim pnei ha'avelim, the ones who could actually see the avelim, peturim. They have a p'tur from Kriya Shema while they're in the Shura, because they are actively involved in Nichem Avelim. They are standing facing the oval. They could see the oval could see them. They could do Nichem Avelim properly. They could say to the oval, Amakim Yinachem Eschem. So they have a p'tur. V'hachitzainim, the ones that are on the outside rows, so that they're not actually facing the oval, and the oval is not actually facing them, chayavin. They are obligated to say Kriya Shema. The p'tur of being Isaac in the mitzvah does not extend to them because they're not actually facing the Avelim. Thank you so much for joining me for the learning of this Mishnah. I hope you will continue to join me for the learning of many, many, many more Mishnayos to come. Be well.